And welcome back to Channel KRT, the podcast where, for some ungodly reason, it always comes back to clowns for us. I'm Tyler Green.
Goodbye, cruel world. I'm Kate Quinn.
0 out of 10, no circus afros. I'm Randy Martin.
Oh, man. But you did have British accents, so that's good enough.
Yay.
We're referencing a Doctor Who spinoff, and we're referencing Afro Circus. Are we back in 2012 at last? Oh my god!
Yay!
We didn't know how good we had it back then.
Keep calm and Alonzi indeed, y'all.
I miss Obama.
Okay, things weren't perfect because gay marriage wasn't legal yet, but we were so close.
How is kind of better pre-gay marriage than post-gay marriage? What is going on?
Well, we didn't have SCOTUS to deal with, so...
Oh, boy. And joining us today is a very great first-time guest. You know him from the Twitter feed at QuietTimeAquino. Please welcome Marc Aquino.
Woo!
Yay!
Hello there.
Hello, love.
Right, what's all this then? You got a license for the telly?
Barcelona.
Would you like some salted cold?
What I'm looking for is someone who can contribute to what England has given to the world. Culture, sophistication, genius. A little bit more than an hot dog. Know what I mean?
So, today I thought I'd only be dealing with British accents, but I swear to God I was also dealing with a Scottish accent at one point. I'll get into it when we get to there, but...
And a Southern accent, kind of.
Yes.
A Brit doing a Southern accent.
Kind of a mixture of Southern and Scottish, I thought he was doing. I actually thought he sounded exactly like David Tennant at some point.
You know what? Every time a British person puts on like a fake country accent, I think I'm morally obligated to make a fucked up joke about something that happened to them.
Oh my god.
Doctor Who has a history of British actors pulling Southern accents, and it's always like mixed results. Sometimes you get a good one that's convincing enough. Other times you're just like, oh, bless him.
Actually, new rule. Bob Hoskins was the only British person allowed to put on an American accent because he did a damn good job.
Oh, yeah.
You keep talking like that and I'm gonna have to wash your mouth out.
Oh, God. I remember back when that Hank Williams biopic was coming out, my boyfriend's dad got so mad at that and was like, why are all the Brits taking all the country roles?
Oh my god, that's right. I forgot. Tom Hiddleston was Hank Williams.
Yeah,
yep.
Tom Hiddleston was Hank Williams, yeah.
He wasn't bad. I'll give him props.
I would also throw in Hugh Laurie.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, when I was a kid, like, obviously I grew up with, like, the Stuart Little movies, and I watched House. And then I think it was around, like, 2009, my mom found at the library DVDs of Blackadder. I'm like, oh, hey, that's Mr. Bean. Oh, hey, that's the dude from House. Wait. Is he British?
Yeah.
British all this time?
That was me with Tom Holland too. Oh, and Daniel Radcliffe. He did a great job with his accent as Weird Al. Well, that's not Southern, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would also say Emma Watson can do a good American accent as well.
Oh, yeah.
Although it's funny, you guys have seen Greta Gerwig's Little Women, right?
Yes.
No, I have not.
No.
Remember the scene where they're all in the attic and they're doing like these kind of like play things? At one point, she switches back to her normal British accent, but it's more like heightened. So I'm just like, man, you're doing like double duty here. Way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Weekly report. Meg, good. Joe, bad. Mm-hmm. Beth, very good. And Amy, sort of middling.
Very well done. Excellent.
Actually, you want to know something crazy?
What?
So here's something that's like kind of the reverse of that for me. When I was a kid, the only exposure I had to Dick Van Dyke was him singing Chim Chim Cheree because I had a sing-along tape with that on it. Not even Mary Poppins as a whole, just that one song. So to this day, even though everyone agrees it was like the worst American trying to do a Cockney accent ever.
All right, ladies and gents, comical poem, suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes.
It still throws me off when I hear him just do a normal American accent, because, like, the terrible Cockney is just what I'm used to coming out of him.
Absolutely.
You're just watching Diagnosis Murder and you're thinking, he could be a bit more British.
That was a damn good show, though. My grandpa was onto something.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So now that we're done alienating all our British followers, why don't we get into the topic?
Yeah.
And speaking of aliens, so we are talking about something Doctor Who adjacent. We are talking about the CBBC spinoff, The Sarah Jane Adventures, starring the late, great Elisabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So before we get into the Sarah Jane Adventures proper, what is everyone's relationship with Doctor Who?
Pretty much my only relationship I've had with Doctor Who. I was on Tumblr around like 2012 to 2016. That's all you need to know.
Super hula.
Yeah.
It keeps Tumblr alive. It's still alive to this day. Mwah.
It didn't matter how hard you tried to curate your feed.
Dread it, run from it. Super Hula arrives all the same.
And I never watched any of those shows except for like a couple episodes of Sherlock and like maybe like a few episodes of Supernatural at someone's house, but I wasn't paying attention. And yet my feed was Super Hulock, Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons was a big one.
And now we have Good Omens, What We Do in the Shadows, and Our Flag Means Death. Or I think it's called like Our Shadow Means Omens. I don't know. And unfortunately, Our Flag Means Death got canceled, and Good Omens will be coming to an end soon. So What We Do in the Shadows will be the longest running one.
Although
like that
that's
show.
ending this
Oh,
this
yeah.
fall, though.
Like Randy, I am a Tumblr veteran of 2012, and I thought, well, I want to check out all these shows. So I casually watched a handful of Doctor Who, Supernatural, and Sherlock. I did not like Sherlock or Supernatural, but I liked what I saw of Doctor Who, and recently I've been wanting to get into it more, so I did watch all 3 of the new specials as well. And so watching this episode helped me get a little bit more of the history in, including remembering Sarah Jane. And yeah, I can see why she was a really popular companion. Elisabeth Sladen, rest in peace, was amazing as her, and she really does manage to carry her own in a spinoff.
Absolutely. I think
100%. Yeah.
we'll get more into, the character of Sarah Jane Smith, but I think that for you guys who aren't as familiar with the Doctor Who lore and Sarah Jane Smith as a character as me and Mark are, that this was a pretty decent starting point for the show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been a fan of the show since 2008. And looking back, that was probably the best time to get onto it because that was when David Tennant was still the 10th Doctor and
Damn.
Series 4 was going on. That's still, to me, and to a lot of fans, that's still the best season of the modern show.
Hell yeah.
Banger after banger after banger. And I believe this episode actually came out the same year. But yeah, I've been a fan ever since. I actually got to meet David Tennant at a few conventions.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I met Matt Smith. I met Billy Piper. I met Karen Gillan. It's just wonderful.
Legend after
Lucky.
legend after legend after legend.
Yes.
You met Scrooge McDuck and Nebula?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Side note, I was thinking that if she had still been alive when DuckTales 2017 came out, I definitely think they would have given Elisabeth Sladen a role in DuckTales 2017.
Oh, they so
I
would've.
wish.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, DuckTales needed more Doctor Who alumni.
Yes.
It really did. I'm surprised Peter Capaldi never showed up.
Right? He would have fit.
Yeah, honestly, any one of the classic Doctors would have fit in just fine. They wouldn't cost much, so you
No,
know.
they
You
wouldn't.
know what? Just scratch the whole idea of being a DuckTales reboot. Call it Doctor Who.
Yes.
Well, that's just a given.
Or Ducktective from Gravity Falls.
Yes, there you go.
So while I was watching this episode, I was kind of comparing in my head to a topic we actually reviewed earlier this year, Press Gang, and kind of comparing Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat's styles. And I was able to find a lot of the perks that I really like in both their works. I will say that I think I lean a little more towards Moffat if I'm absolutely forced to choose, but I do really love RTD's writing.
Oh yeah, RTD,
Yeah.
he gets a lot of shit recently because a lot of fans were pretty disappointed with Shooty first season, which is totally fair. There were some episodes that were more of an acquired taste, but overall, I think it was a pretty solid, first go for Shooty.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
They'll definitely find more of their footing. Maybe they had to deal with like Disney executives like being like, oh, we gotta do this and this.
from what I've heard with the whole thing in regards to the deal between Disney and the BBC for Doctor Who is Disney would give them notes, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's Russell T Davies and the BBC. They're the final ones to make the decisions on Doctor Who, not Disney.
Gotcha.
Which is good. That is perfect.
Which is how it should be. It's like Disney just write the checks, put it on Disney Plus, and give them their space. Nothing more.
Disney
And put the rest of the show on Disney Plus. I still don't understand why it's on Max still. I don't get it.
Don't let Zaslav fuck with it.
Like it's like they have no problem taking down their own stuff on Max. So what's their excuse for this?
Yep.
No, you're right.
You know what? Now that I think about it, it is kind of weird that is still on Max, but like a bunch of Cartoon Network classics aren't.
Yeah. Fucking Zaslav. Plus, Doctor Who used to air on Disney XD, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There was a very brief period in time where mainly David Tennant's series 2 to 4 aired for a quick little like experimental run on Disney XD, which for me was just like, oh my God, this is everything I wanted.
Hell yeah.
They also put Fresh Prince on there for a bit, too.
Oh, really?
So imagine that crossover.
I just want a mate.
No! It's funny, you mentioned Fresh Prince. Jeffrey was on an episode of the classic series of Doctor Who in 1987.
Holy shit!
Oh, yeah,
It's all
that's right.
connected, man.
Yeah, that's right. He was giving Sylvester McCoy advice. And a Caribbean accent, no less.
And it's a great scene, too.
Every great decision creates ripples. Like a huge boulder dropped in a lake. The ripples merge, rebound off the banks in unforeseeable ways. The heavier the decision, the larger the waves, the more uncertain the consequences.
Life's like that. Best thing is just to get on with it.
Does this mean the Doctor is Carlton?
Carlton, are you by any chance the Doctor?
Also, one more note before we begin. I gotta say that after being on a bit of an anti-hyperfixation on the Sweet Life franchise this week, and having an unfortunate amount of knowledge on Sam and Cat and all the spin-offs of various Nickelodeon sitcoms, it's nice watching a spin-off of a kid's show that actually feels decent. Like,
This show ran for a couple seasons, and I know that like a lot of young people grew up with this show around the same time that they watched Doctor Who. And having been watching a lot of the show recently, I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I get why this was like a touchstone for like a generation of young kids in the UK.
Absolutely.
I can see why they have a lot of nostalgia for it. In fact, I think fairly recently, Millie Gibson, who's the current companion on the show, in an interview with I forget which news outlet, she said that she watched the Sarah Jane Adventures when she was a kid.
Hell yeah.
Like the show still has a lot of people looking back on it with fond memories. And again, having been watching the show recently, yeah, I get it. Like I can see why like a kid in like in the aughts into like the early 2010s were like, yeah, no, this is great. This is fun. I've been on a weird Power Rangers kick lately, and I can see some parallels between like the Doctor Who production of it all and Power Rangers, but that's a whole spiel that I'll spare you of.
I will say though, speaking of like spin-offs seeming to kind of not get much traction, you know what one thing I miss about the 70s is?
What?
When you could have a sitcom that was a spin-off of 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 a really obscure show that probably got like 2 seasons maximum, and it would be one of the greatest things ever aired on TV.
Yeah, like Happy Days and the Mary Tyler Moore Show both got a bunch of spin-offs, and
Good Times, the Jeffersons, the entire Norman Lear-verse.
Yes.
British kids in 2008 got this show. Meanwhile, in the US, we get a recession and we get Sweet Life on deck. Weren't we lucky?
No, we fucking weren't.
Yeah, there was a recession, and the American public were just about to start embracing, for better or for worse, mainly for worse, Big Bang Theory. So,
yeah.
Yeah, well,
I've never really watched it, so I can't really give my 2 cents on it.
you use your time well, Tyler. That's all I'll say.
All I know is that they've gotten their Doctor Who facts very wrong in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
For starters, they call him Doctor Who instead of the Doctor. Red flag number 1.
I do that as so. Listen, Tyler, I really don't know shit or fuck about like anything on the BBC. The most British thing I grew up with was Thomas the Tank Engine. I've been calling him the Doctor my whole life. Anytime.
In all fairness, even the cast makes this mistake.
Yeah.
I'll see some interviews where, I guess like Tom Baker will call himself Doctor Who or something.
If you worked on the show, you can say it. If you haven't, don't.
My favorite Doctor Who scene is when he says, "Who is the doctor? I'm the who is the doctor."
Who's on first? Who? No. Who's on first? Who?
But Pagliacci, I am the doctor.
Good joke. Everybody laugh.
So, like Kit and Randy and Mark, I am also a veteran of the 2012 Tumblr days. I didn't get into Supernatural and Sherlock, the way other people did, but I was very into Doctor Who. I was on an old forum back in the day called the Disboards, which was a Disney theme park message board, and a lot of people there were talking about the show, so I decided to get into it. This was around, I want to say, 2011, and I fell in love with it at the time.
Hell yeah.
Matt Smith was my first Doctor. I kind of fell off during Capaldi's run, which I regret because I missed out on some real bangers.
There are so many gems in Capaldi's time. Heaven Sent is literally one of the best pieces of television of the last decade.
Everybody says that. That's the one where it's just Peter Capaldi for an entire episode.
Yes, it's just him. It's, written by Moffat, directed by Rachel Taylor. Everything coalesced into a piece of television that I would put on the same tier as, any Breaking Bad episode, any early Game of Thrones, any Mad Men, everything that you call peak TV. It's on the same level as that.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Capaldi is fucking S tier. I actually do still have a soft spot for the Matt Smith Doctor Who Moffat era because it just had like this really sweet kind of fairy tale vibe to it. Especially when Karen Gillan was on the show as Amy Pond, with her and Rory.
I'm going to be so honest. The main reason I'm most familiar with the Tenant Doctor out of all of them is because I was also a brony back in the early 2010s.
Oh, yeah, because the Doctor
I
Who.
love Doctor Who.
Doctor Hooves was in a fucking scapable, and I'm not going to lie, I still love the ship with him and Derpy Hooves.
As a veteran of the My Little Pony fandom as well, hell yeah. So, as good as this episode is, I will say it's not beating the kid-friendly It allegations.
This was literally it.
As Kenny Ortega said, this is it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then he killed one of the greatest singers of all time.
Yay!
Going into my relationship with the Sarah Jane Adventures, I guess, all I can say is that I knew of the show and I watched assorted episodes of it here and there, but I never really properly binged it ever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I mean, it is a really good show, don't get me wrong. And as we alluded to earlier, Elisabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith just has this amazing legacy as a Doctor Who companion, especially since she was paired with, Tom Baker's Fourth Doctor. They were literally, for a period, the Doctor Who team.
Hell yeah.
And their run of episodes during that time is still considered by the majority of the fandom to be peak 70s sci-fi. It's terrific. Pyramids of Mars, all that. It's wonderful.
Pyramid of Mars, and you have just really shoddy, practical effects. The textbook definition of people in rubber monster suits. You just can't beat it,
Special effects. Not very special. It's like kids playing in their garage.
Yeah, it's very much in the same vein of old Star Trek, where it's they didn't have a budget, but it's the characters and the writing that really kept you coming back for more.
It's just so charming in that way.
Absolutely.
Also, funny enough, wasn't Sarah Jane also going to be in another spin-off that didn't go
Canine and Company, yes.
Canine and Company,
They were going to make a show about the little robot dog.
The Tin Dog, yes.
The robot dog I always saw in Newbury Comics.
Mistress.
And yes, for some reason, even though that was a one-off backdoor pilot that never got off the ground, that it is canon because, they kept the whole thing with K9 staying with Sarah Jane, and the episode School Reunion where she comes back to Doctor Who for the first time. And I can easily say that School Reunion is one of my favorite episodes of the new Who era because one, Sarah Jane comes back and you get a lot of sweet scenes with her and the Doctor. Two, David Tennant is at his finest as a Doctor Who fanboy here.
Hell yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine what was going through his head filming this. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And, since we mentioned K9, I'm just going to say it here. We're not going to talk about that fuck-ass spin-off he had, are we?
Oh, God.
No.
I don't know about it, so I physically can't talk about it.
You are living the best life because of that. Trust me.
See what happens when you don't get into Doctor Who?
I am happy to stay ignorant.
Yeah, so the K9 reboot, I won't go too much into it, but basically they changed the entire design due to, like, rights issues with the BBC.
Oh, dear.
I don't know what the fuck went down, but
As a Powerpuff Girls fan, I understand your pain.
they kept his voice actor, and the original
Yeah.
design did show up in the first episode before basically imploding.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that was a slap in the face.
And by the way, this was not legally produced by the BBC. This was like produced by an Australian company.
That's one of the weird things with Doctor Who is that the specific characters and specific like monsters are created by different people. Like, for example, the Daleks were created by Terry Nation. The Centaurans were created by Robert Holmes, and K9 was created by Bob Baker and Dave Martin. And so, like, technically they own K9. It's like they can license the character to Doctor Who as well as anything else, but like they own the copyright to K9. So that's why there was a K9 show. It's just that they couldn't use that specific design, the classic design of K9. They couldn't use that. So that's why in episode 1, they basically blew them up so they can make new K9. Like, design wise, it's okay, but it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They basically just killed off the original K9 just so they could make him fly. That's
No,
all you
come
need.
on.
Yeah.
You're telling me the BBC is a bunch of puppy killers? I knew it.
No, they're a bunch of robot dog killers. There's the difference.
Yeah.
Dog is dog.
It's Robot Old Yeller, basically.
Dog is God spelled backwards. So
that's true.
If I can pack bond with it, it's dog.
Going into the Sarah Jane adventures, finally, the episode in question that we're talking about is season 2, episode 3 and 4, Day of the Clown.
Which, obvious joke here that we all misread it as the day the clown cried at first.
No,
Yes.
I literally thought that it was like going to be a parody of the day the clown cried, and I was about to say that is extremely fucked up on their part.
yeah. And it's like, what kid in like 2008, especially in the UK, is going to be up on their Jerry Lewis knowledge? So
I mean, Sarah Jane cries in this episode. That's close enough, right?
There we go.
Without going too further into it, young Sarah Jane literally was like, can't sleep, clown will eat me.
Anyway, it's past summer 2024. Y'all have no excuses. Let me see it.
I would be very foreseeing Sarah Jane beat the shit out of Nazis, for the record.
Absolutely, same here.
That would be nice.
Oh, yeah. So this episode opens with a kid getting kidnapped, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the day the clown cried.
That's pretty much all you need to know. It's kids playing football, and not the American kind of football. It's basically soccer here, but
It's
Also-
soccer.
Insert joke here that the kid who's got kidnapped's name is Tony.
previously on Some Jerk Kidnapped by a Clown.
Hey, you want to kidnap me?
Okay.
Good, let's go. This isn't right at all.
It opens the episode with Luke reading a letter from a friend who I'm going to assume is Maria.
Yes.
Yeah, Maria, who was in the first season of the show before Bonnie.
Gotcha.
She got written off in the first 2 episodes, I think.
Okay, because I was reading the wiki and I was like, who the hell is Maria? She isn't in this episode. And I was like, oh, that must be her.
I'll do you one even weirder. In the pilot episode, there was another character who Clyde, the other character, eventually replaced, named Kelsey Hooper.
Oh my god.
Who shows up only in the pilot and never comes back.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess they both went the ways of Rose.
I don't know who Rose is.
I'll be goddamned.
So not only does she never comes back, but the show never mentions her ever again.
Yeah.
Because she probably fucking killed herself.
No.
In my opinion, they ate her.
Yes, sure, why not?
And also a franchise involving space with a character named Luke S. I have never heard of that before.
Like the other Lucas, he's basically a chosen one, kind of, sort of. So he is the perfect little bean. He knows everything. Yeah.
I don't think we're thinking of the same Luke S here. Are you guys thinking of the guy with blue hair who's a storyboarder?
Wow, this live action Ben
Ah.
10 is a lot better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
So, did anybody notice that the browser he was reading the email off of was called Leopard Fire?
I thought you said leper, as in like the disease. I was like, what kind of fucking browser is this?
Today, on a very special episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Introducing Kodak Instant
Leproseb.
In minutes, they give you
Leproseb.
Can you feel our
Leproseb.
Wow.
So, coincidentally, right after Maria Jackson moves out, the next day, a new family literally moves into the same exact house.
Well, what do you know?
And like Clyde is trying to tell Luke, hey man, don't worry about it. You're bound to find a new friend, just like that. And then literally just like that, he bumps into the new friend.
Well, what do you know?
When he says Clyde's cool rules, I was like, that sounds like a segment they'd air on Nickelodeon for like some weird guide to life experience.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, this was Ned's declassified school survival guide. That was Ned, and then the girl was Mose, and then that was Cookie.
There we go.
Ooh, yeah.
That was then literally Ned's declassified. That was just British Ned's declassified.
Luke and Ned basically had the same hairstyle. Again, it was 2008.
Yeah, every boy in 2008 looked like that.
I had that haircut, so yeah.
You either had swoopy emo hair or a bowl cut. Those were your only two choices if you were a man in 2008.
Even in Britain, boys had to have the Disney Channel love interest haircut, basically.
The Cody Lindley, the Zac Efron,
the Jake Ryan.
Yes, exactly.
Same guy. Yeah. I can't believe I thought I had a crush on that guy. I literally just picked him. I was like, who's the most basic looking Disney Channel white boy? That guy. That's who I'll, was fucking like starter Pokemon when it came to celebrity crushes, I guess.
Also, I fucking love that they're trying to keep it a mystery that Headmaster Chandra is Ronnie's dad, because it's like they have the same last name, and then later they're like, how could you have not told us he's your dad? It's like,
you didn't ask.
Yeah, it's like this big fucking revelation. I mean, granted, I don't remember if Ronnie actually said her last name prior to this.
No, I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine going to work at the school your daughter goes to and deciding, what would be great for her if I was a huge asshole.
Yeah, he's a prick. He's such a dick to Clyde. It's like,
like literally for no reason. He's just singling him out. Just because. Granted, he does throw a basketball at him because this is a kid's show. It does need some slapstick.
Although Clyde did say he didn't mean to hit him specifically.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And he blames him for all the kids going missing and won't believe him that, there's a clown showing up in the school. It's like, I get it sounds crazy, but the kids are still disappearing.
Priorities.
And literally an hour later, after that happens, Ronnie's dad is like literally lamenting the fact that the kid actually did go missing. Motherfucker, you could have prevented this.
Okay, so like, you remember that like British teacher who was in the news? Because her students told her they were saying shit like, I identify as an eggplant, and she believes them. That's the vibes this headmaster gives me. He would one of the students would just say something stupid as a joke, and he'd be in the fucking Sun the next day saying, well, you wouldn't believe what the children of today do.
Yeah.
They shove goldfishes up their ass.
So Odd Bob the Clown starts pulling some Freddy Krueger shit and basically starts showing up in the school and disappearing conveniently. And he manages to capture a kid and scribble all over his books.
Yeah. What is this, England or Derry, Maine?
Yeah. So the design of this clown, who we find out later his name is Odd Bob, I was kind of getting like sort of a mix of Pennywise and Jack the Clown from Halloween Horror Nights, but leaning more towards the latter.
I'm sorry, I hear the name Odd Bob. All I can think of is Toys for Bob, and all I can think of when I hear Toys for Bob is Madagascar on the PS2.
And yes, boys and girls, the same team responsible for the brilliant Spyro Reignited trilogy also made Madagascar on the GameCube, and they had a theme song that sounded like a load of puking clowns running after you.
I mean, the only thing I can think of when I hear Toys for Bob is Activision ruining fucking everything.
Oh, Activision, you really fucked up everything.
Yep. Especially Blizzard, but that's another story.
Oh, Activision, you squandered the chances of us getting a remastered Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 for more Call of Duty. Fuck you.
Fuck Bobby Kotick. All my homies hate Bobby Kotick.
So watching the high school scenes, I was thinking to myself that it's good to know that even across the pond, high school is still as bleak as I remember it looking.
Yeah.
Because this place literally looks like a fucking prison at times.
I remember I was watching Todd in the Shadows review of Never Had a Dream Come True, and he was talking about the S Club 7 show.
The BBC does things very differently. It's much less colorful and grubbier, and it doesn't have a laugh track, so it's a lot less memorable, but also less annoying. I'll say this, I enjoyed it a lot more than High School Musical.
And I was like, yeah, I'm getting the vibes from this as well.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Tumblr was talking about how much they hated living in America and how bad they wanted to go live in England. Be an English teenager, an English schoolgirl or schoolboy, and drink tea every day.
It's not that much better, especially with all the heavy transphobia.
Yeah.
No, I didn't fantasize about wanting to move to the UK solely because of my Doctor Who hyperfixation in high school. What are you talking about?
And, excuse me, last I checked, which country, is responsible for America existing again?
That's British.
Ireland is pretty cool, I guess, yeah. Ireland's cool. Scotland's pretty cool. Well, Scotland's just the UK. Wales is pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's also part of the UK, but, you know, Scotland, Wales, pretty neat.
Yeah, Doctor Who is made in Wales.
If you go to Ireland, you get to meet all the Dairy Girls cast. There you go.
You know, I'm still kicking myself over the fact that I never got to see the Doctor Who experience in person.
Oh, dang.
And a lot of that is probably lost media by now.
Yeah, I mean it's all kind of like in like a warehouse somewhere in the UK. Although my whole thing is that, you know, if they were ever to bring Doctor Who to the Disney parks, I mean technically they have, because the TARDIS was at a couple like photo spots and like downtown Disney, and I think in like the California parks as well. If they were to do something else Doctor Who related, there's a lot of empty space in Epcot.
Yes.
I literally posted this on Twitter last week. The empty alien encounter space. Prime real estate for a TARDIS console attraction.
Oh,
Just saying.
If they take the space that they were going to use for the canceled Mary Poppins stuff and they make it Doctor Who, I might be a little butthurt. I might be a little salty. I might throw a little tantrum on Twitter.
Agree to disagree.
Fair.
I will say for the West Coast, they should, instead of making Disneyland forward, they should update our Tomorrowland and add in Futurama and Doctor Who experiences.
They really should.
Doctor Who belongs in Tomorrowland. I agree.
Yes.
Yes, put Doctor Who in Tomorrowland and give us the Mary Poppins.
And then make another Family Matters episode promoting the update.
I blew a bibulating rebobulator.
So then we cut to Sarah Jane meeting Ronnie's mom, and I wanted that watch she had. It looked so cool.
Yeah, her Dick Tracy watch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because she has like a lot of like bitchin' gadgets. I don't know how she got these. I don't know if she got these like from the doctor, but you know.
Fun part is not knowing, is just kind of leaving it to your imagination.
Exactly.
Like at times, you know, like you can tell straight up that they're literally just making these props solely for selling merch. Like there's literally a point straight up where she holds up the sonic lipstick, which is her equivalent to the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, and she says that she never leaves home without it. And I'm literally imagining at the bottom of the screen, $24.99, buy now, buy now, buy now.
Buy now, buy it now, buy it now. Your parents don't love you unless they get you a sonic lipstick.
It's literally the bit from Malcolm in the Middle where Dewey is just hallucinating that the doll that is being sold to him is telling him that his parents don't love him. It's that, but with Sarah Jane Smith, basically.
Your parents have lots of money. They're just hiding it. But I don't want you to buy me from me. It's for your own good. I didn't want to tell you this, but if you don't buy me, you'll die.
And then scalpers at a convention sell it for like $700.
Yeah.
This is actually an incredibly rare, high-worth item.
One per customer. Please form a line. There will be no cutting. I'm talking to you, Mr. Cutter.
People actually do make like legit sonic screwdriver replicas that are like 1-to-1 and sell them for like $500.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen those at conventions. They're good. They're good.
Speaking of her gadgets, I remember that when we first were introduced to Mr. Smith, the computer, I thought, is that actually her husband? Like, does she just have a computer husband? Good for her.
So is this like a gender-bent Karen and Plankton?
Yes.
Why don't you go make yourself useful and synthesize me up some grub?
Yes, Your Majesty.
What do we got here? Oh, goody! Holographic meatloaf again!
Oh yeah, but no, the character of Mr. Smith, he's a supercomputer, and wasn't there like a plot line in season 1 where it turns out he was actually evil?
Oh God.
Yeah, that was the finale.
It is actually so funny watching media from the past that shows like talking computers as like the most futuristic thing in the world in an era where we just go, Alexa, hey Siri.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Sarah.
And, you know, every time Mr. Smith opens up, he gets like this grandiose fanfare, which kind of like delays the plot a bit.
Mr. Smith, I need you. What's happening?
Oh, don't worry, it's only Mr. Smith.
And there was also a joke when there was like a proper Sarah Jane Doctor Who crossover where they kind of like lampshaded that, where she goes, I wish you wouldn't do that.
And also, there's a scene where Luke and Clyde are talking, and then at one point one of them says, you made me ask Mr. Thicko from Thicksville. I used to play bass for Mr. Thicko from Thicksville.
That sounds like one of the worst compliments someone could ever get. Because there is no way it would not be said in the most creepy possible way. Hello, Mr. Thicko from Thicksville.
Speaking of creepy, here's how you can tell this is from 2008. They reference Johnny Depp. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke makes a point to mention that Johnny Depp is afraid of clowns.
Remember when Johnny Depp was America's sweetheart? And for some reason, he still fucking is.
Only to fucking creepies on Twitter.
So, does anybody else just suddenly have the urge to show up at Johnny Depp's house dressed as a clown wielding a fake knife?
Huzzah!
Just me?
I also really love that this episode gives Sarah Jane an arc of having to overcome her own fear of clowns, and it actually ties to a really emotional moment in her backstory.
I actually really liked that whole bit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of moments in the show where like you actually see Sarah Jane be vulnerable, not even in her Doctor Who era either. And it was
there were definitely moments in the classic era where she was like emotionally kind of being put to her limits in certain situations. But like, I feel like, especially given that this is a show made for kids, to show that like the main character who's an adult, that even they can be scared of something. I think that's a really powerful thing to teach children, that, yeah, even adults can be afraid of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what I like about this show is that it does not talk down to the audience at all by any means.
Absolutely.
They know fully well that if they can handle Doctor Who, they can handle shit like this.
Yeah. I think I accidentally skipped over it, but the scene where Harish Chandra is talking about how I'm the captain of this ship, and then Clyde says, I've got a sinking feeling. That was a good response.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is this me?
Who said that? Who the fuck said that?
Also, every time Ronnie's mom was saying she wants to be a journalist when she grows up, I'm like, no, she doesn't. Journalism right now is in a bad state, especially in the UK.
You know, going back to what you were saying about journalism in the UK, Sarah Jane Smith, had she been alive, she would absolutely fuck up a TERF's day.
Hell yeah.
100%.
She would go to jail for refusing to be transphobic, and I applaud her for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I bet that's going to become a law in Britain, and oh boy.
No.
Get out of there while you can.
Praying that J.K. Rowling, beep, 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 from the black mold.
I hope Imani sues her so hard that she doesn't just own all the rights to Harry Potter. She actually ends up becoming the next monarch of England.
Huzzah! And also because I gotta make the obvious reference to previous clown things we've referenced, I'd still rather deal with Oddbob than Jimbo or any of the Ginger Book Fair clowns.
Yeah. Yeah, at least Odd Bob isn't gonna try and preach to me.
I will say Odd Bob is very much less of a threat than Jimbo, quite frankly. But also, I would love to see a curb stomp battle between him and the Gingerbrook Fair crew. We all know who'd win.
Odd Bob just gives me like haunted house actor vibes. The gingerbread circus clowns give me bad touch vibes.
Okay, now Odd Bob needs to be played by Tim Curry or Bill Skarsgård, and he'll be even better.
I feel like the worst thing Odd Bob is gonna do is like jump out at me during some like, a haunted house in a warehouse.
Also, I was making an odd Sideshow Bob joke at first, but then they literally say, "Take that, Krusty," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because we find out that, the clown that the kids are seeing actually is real, and he's giving kids free tickets to a circus museum.
Yeah.
And one of the kids that he hands it to says, "Take a hike, Krusty."
Yeah.
I'm seeing double 4 Odd Bobs.
So speaking of the circus museum, Sarah Jane and Clyde go to investigate, and it's here that we meet the character of Elijah Spellman, played by Bradley Walsh. Now, Bradley Walsh, here's what's interesting. He actually later became a Doctor Who companion.
Yes.
In the Jodie Whittaker era.
He
Yeah,
did?
he played Graham Sinclair, who was a gem of a character. He's a warm hug of a character of Graham. I love him. He's one of those characters that's like, the moment he's first introduced, you're just like, I like this guy. I like this guy. He's one of the few good men in the world.
Also, I couldn't look at the background of the museum the same after seeing a bunch of laughing Sals, so I was like, oh god, they kidnapped all the laughing Sals from the Boardwalk theme parks.
Oh god, and I actually saw a laughing Saul in person recently. Those things are incredibly fucking scary.
Yeah, they have one at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and I remember just hating being near that thing as a kid.
Yeah, the one I saw was in Hershey Park, and the thing was literally taller than me, so that did not help matters at all.
I think I know the one you're talking about, Tyler. I think I might have seen that one.
Yeah, on the laugh track.
Yeah.
What is up with like Victorian and Edwardian people and just having such a high tolerance for like the creepiest shit? And by like high tolerance for like the creepiest shit, I mean they'd look at something horrifying and be like, oh, how endearing, the children will love this.
Those guys ate mummies, for crying out loud.
Oh geez, maybe those mummies were affecting their brains.
Yeah. They were high on opium and they did the most unspeakable things behind closed doors. So how are you shocked by this?
How the fuck is Victorian nobility a symbol of like, high society and manners when they were eating mummies?
Also, I swear to God, in the background, I swear I saw Hoopla at one point. Insert SpongeBob joke here.
Sounds like a...
That's another thing too. When Spellman shows up, he was giving me like straight up direct Moulin Rouge 2001 vibes.
Yeah. Oh my
god! And my first thought was that if Sarah Jane ends up breaking the Lady Marmalade, it'll all have been worth it.
Oh yeah.
It was still, only 7 years since it came out, and it was still really popular.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Sarah Jane, you don't have to take the... I don't know.
I figured the special was missing a little Ewan McGregor.
Yes. Actually, Baz Luhrmann directing a Doctor Who episode would be amazing.
Yeah, it actually would.
It really would, yes. So it's here that we find out that Elijah Spellman actually is Odd Bob. And not only is he Odd Bob, but he's also the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
The Pied Piper is real, apparently, and he came from an asteroid.
Yes, that's basically what happened. And for some reason, Clyde is shocked by this. He literally says, but the Pied Piper was a fairy tale. Motherfucker, you fought off aliens on the regular. This is where you suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, just like one episode prior, you tricked the Centauran and you're surprised that the Pied Piper is real. Although I like the line Sarah Jane has.
Myths, legends, fairy tales. Every story has its inspiration, Clyde.
Yeah, he fought off Centaurans. He fought off fat-phobic farting aliens.
Yeah.
Your friend's mom is an interdimensional time traveler, and you're shocked that a fairy tale character might be real?
For better or worse, this is not a franchise that can jump the shark. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Oh,
There is
100%.
no jumping the shark when the shark is interdimensional time travel.
You're already doing an acrobat performance over the shark as the theme. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Just have some fucking fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, the Doctor Who universe always has this like weird thing with circuses because there's a Sylvester McCoy story from 1987 called The Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
My favorite Sylvester McCoy story. Yes, that one is a banger.
It's a really great 4-parter. And it also serves some like very like creepy circus vibes. I would recommend you guys check it out.
I'm not gonna lie. This is why I have a hard time getting into Doctor Who, which like you should get into Doctor Who if you have interest in it, but like it's hard for me because it's like all these episodes are like 2, 3, 4, 5-parter, like lore intensive, like 60 years worth of lore intensive episodes.
Not all of them are.
Not all of them.
Fair, yeah.
I'll like click an episode and it'll be like, oh my god, the flim de flams from planet Zorgon are gonna kill all of humanity if we don't get the MacGuffin.
Is this the human condition of madness, leader? It is.
So then we go into part 2, and once again going with the Stephen King stuff. Of course there's red balloons involved.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
This is exactly what Nina and Goldfinger were warning us about, you guys.
Copyright infringement.
And yeah, we forgot to mention too that the first part ends on the cliffhanger where Spellman uses telekinesis to make the clown statues in the museum come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 2 words for you, Sanj. Telekinesis.
And one thing I noticed too during this scene is that you see a lot of fucking Dutch angles. And I don't know what Russell T Davies' deal was with Dutch angles, because it wasn't just this. In David Tennant's first season, they were literally in every other episode.
He was obsessed with the movie Battlefield Earth.
Honestly, like the 2000s, like 2000 to 2009 as a whole, I don't know what that whole decade's deal was with Dutch angles.
So when the Dutch angle themselves, is that how they view things normally?
Yeah.
Yeah, to the Dutch, they're called American angles.
Ah.
Well, no, to the Dutch, they're just called angles.
What are you talking about? This movie is perfectly aligned. I don't know if that's a Dutch accent. I'm sorry to any
Randy,
Dutch
we've already
listeners.
alienated all our British viewers. You gotta stop alienating our Dutch viewers.
Don't alienate the Dutch.
Channel KRT, the most xenophobic podcast on earth.
It's okay if they're white countries.
Channel KRT, we alienate the Dutch.
Yay.
Emphasis on alien.
Hooray.
Hi, I'm Paul Verhoeven. I would like to show you a test that I did for my new movie, Starship Troopers. But perhaps I should give you a warning. Don't look now!
You know who Oddbob was also giving me the vibes of?
What?
Who was the clown character from Spawn?
Ah, the John Leguizamo character?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Violator, that's who it was. I just Googled it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what other vibes I was getting? That fucking clown from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh god, yeah.
Well, are you, Randy? Are you afraid of the dark?
No, actually, I'm tired.
Fair.
Aren't we all?
How can I be afraid of the dark when I am so eepy?
And I gotta say that RTD is amazing with horror for kids. Like, he does
Yeah.
not fuck around.
Oh yeah, he's amazing with horror for kids. Moffat, I mean, that's practically his goal, is to always like make something terrifying for kids, whether it's statues, shadows, the internet, Wi-Fi, you name it, he makes it scary.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't help but like crack out laughing at like all the moving clown statues, the people in clown. It's
They're literally just making fucking robotic movements.
literally just like a bunch of like white people at like a cookout trying to do the robot or something.
It did look a little like a Goosebumps episode.
Woo! Hello, kids. I'm the Gobbler Goblin. I've come to eat your feet because you didn't do your homework. Woo!
White people when you put safety dance on at the barbecue.
Hey, these robots have human flesh. They're not gonna move, are they? Oh my god, they're moving.
It's kind of like how I said where this show feels very much like in the same vein of like a Power Rangers season where it's very low budget, but like they use every trick in the book to make you think that it's not.
Doctor Who could have used more Godzilla footage, let's be real.
I mean, Sarah Jane did fight dinosaurs in a classic episode. So.
She did.
Nice.
She did. Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And yes, the dinosaurs were wacky rubber puppets. It was amazing.
Mwah.
I can't hate classic Who. I'm sorry, guys.
Hell yeah.
It looks like it was a good time.
Yes, yes, it was.
I'm not even into Doctor Who, and I'm still mad about the lost episodes.
Yeah, no, that is some bullshit right there.
Absolutely. And so then Sarah Jane gives Ronnie a little device that sets up a force field around her that keeps her safe from Oddbob. And then her mom accidentally bumps into it.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight up knocks her
Are you
out.
having one of your mind grades again, Mom? Just, gaslighting her the whole time.
I deadass thought she was accidentally going to give her a concussion at first.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dying! You having another one of your migraines, Mom?
Yeah, gaslighting seems to be a common theme in this episode for some reason.
It's a common theme among this show and just like the Doctor Who universe in general, whenever they're trying to like not let people know that, oh yeah, that's aliens. It's like, oh, you're just dreaming. Oh, you're off the rag again, aren't you? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, gaslighting is okay if it saves humanity.
Hooray!
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
I will say, as surprisingly horrifying in a good way the episode can get, I was shocked that Oddbob didn't just make all the kids just start murdering everybody in their way. He just makes them walk menacingly with the balloons.
Yeah, no, because, like, when she discovered, what was going on with Oddbob, or whatever the fuck his real name was, it was like, oh my god, he eats fear, and children going missing, makes people scared. You know what else is pretty fucking, scary about humanity? Child murderers.
Yeah.
Capitalize on that. That'll really get the fear going.
Also, we gotta talk about the scene where Sarah Jane talks about where her fear of clowns comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's actually fucking scary.
Yeah.
She explains that when she lived with her Aunt Lavina, that, she would keep, all her toys from when she was a kid around. And one of the toys was a clown puppet. And during a storm one night, she swore she saw the puppet, move, which is actually kind of unsettling. I do agree there.
Yeah.
This is why I don't fuck with porcelain dolls. Those shits are scary, and I swear all of them can move on their own.
No, you're absolutely right.
If I had to choose between sleeping outside or sleeping in a room with even one of those fuckers, I'm sleeping outside.
And from the few episodes I've seen of the Sarah Jane Adventures, one of the things I really, really love about the show is the, mother-son dynamic between her and Luke.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Elizabeth Sladen and Tommy Knight just have this really, great chemistry together.
They really do.
And you really buy their relationship.
Yeah, I loved that, honestly.
Even if Luke is her, adopted son, who was actually like an alien experiment. No, really, that is what happened.
What?
Yeah,
I thought he was just a dude.
No, they are explaining in the episode that he's an alien.
Yeah.
Well, he's technically human, but he was kind of grown in a lab.
This is why I have such a hard time with Doctor Who. It's like, what?
He's a test tube baby.
He's basically if Homelander was a good guy.
I actually haven't seen The Boys yet. I don't have
Me
Amazon
neither.
Prime. I want to. It looks good.
And also, when Sarah Jane says that it's the first time that she really called out for her parents because she never met them because they died when she was a baby, it really hit.
Oh God, yeah. And there is an episode where she does travel back in time to meet her parents, and it's fucking devastating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, this was a show aimed at children.
Yeah.
Your kids could watch this in the afternoon.
This feels like one of those shows that aired on Teen Nick in the late aughts, early 10s, like House of Anubis, H2O, where it's it's kind of like a super sci-fi-y fantasy type show that just kind of sometimes out of nowhere will gut punch you.
Yeah.
I feel like if not for the Doctor Who connection, Teen Nick absolutely would have been all over this show.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, they would have. This has Teen Nick written all over it.
That reminds me, I don't think this show ever actually aired in America.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I think it might have actually aired on the Sci-Fi Channel, but I don't know if it aired.
That wouldn't surprise me, yeah, because they did air Doctor Who during that period.
Yeah. It was actually when it was on the Sci-Fi Channel that I first got into Doctor Who. I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel for like a brief period of time before I think they chose not to like air it again because there was like, I guess it was like low ratings, at least in America.
Okay.
So.
Going back to the Teen Nick connection, I would have loved if it did air on Teen Nick, they remade that Baby There's a Shark in the Water advertisement with the Degrassi characters, but with Sarah Jane characters. I've never even seen Degrassi, but I fucking love that commercial.
Oh my god.
I've seen a few episodes. I kind of like caught a little bit of the earlier seasons when my cousin watched it in 2003 or so.
Do you guys remember the brief period where Disney XD aired the David Tennant era of Doctor Who?
Yes.
I did watch that. I was mainly just watching Disney XD for like Phineas and Ferb, though.
That was such a strange time, especially considering that there was a two-parter that straight up took place in hell.
Oh my
God!
God!
Fought the devil.
Yes.
In all fairness, I'm sure Disney XD aired the episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Will and Uncle Phil almost get a happy ending at a massage parlor.
When you have a chronic back problem and you go for a therapeutic massage and wind up in a house of ill repute, which is subsequently raided, and you are arrested by mistake, never tell your wife.
Plus, if this was around the time that Gravity Falls was beginning, basically everything that show got away with, maybe Disney XD wasn't above airing something with hell, so.
Hell and happy endings.
Although I will say, I think when they aired that two-parter of Doctor Who where they technically meet the devil, they actually bleeped out the word hell.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they censored the word hell.
How did they handle the multitudes of sex jokes in Fresh Prince?
Yeah.
They just did what Mad TV did with their Sopranos sketch. They just cut the episode down to 5 minutes and just aired it in between commercials.
What's the matter with you, huh? You think you can He was a made man! You rat! Can't even look at you. Take him out, big pussy. My pleasure.
So the way that the kids are broken from their trance is a phone call, and I'm just like, that's hella relatable to us millennials, because phone calls would scare me out of any trance.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Mr. Smith and Sarah Jane use the meteorite that she gets from the Pharos Institute, which we forgot to talk about that. So it turns out that basically Odd Bob came from this meteorite.
Yeah.
Somehow. I forget what the explanation was specifically.
He came from this meteorite that landed on Earth in, like, I think the 13th century.
And it was, like, full of, like, dark matter because, like, you know, it's, like, dark and it's, like, scary and it's, like, dark, you know, dark and evil.
Because dark matter is evil, because dark matter is evil, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Pretty much.
It looked like chocolate, the meteorite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat that fucking rock, I swear to God.
Forbidden candy.
Right, so we need a meteorite for the scene, right? Anybody got, like, tinfoil or something?
It's the Choco Smash Bar from DCA.
Oh,
I will say, it is kind of funny that Odd Bob operates on, like, airplane frequencies. Like, a single cell phone call just completely fucks him up.
Yeah, it's like, would one of the kids have answered a phone call while receiving their ticket? Would that have destroyed him right then and there?
So does that mean I'm not allowed to bring liquids near Odd Bob?
Verisimilitude compromised.
And then Luke gets kidnapped, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that is a pretty good plot point, because it does actually tie into, like, the adult fear that Sarah Jane would obviously have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he gets trapped in a funhouse mirror too, which that was a really fun scene.
It's literally like, yay, I conquered my childhood fears. Oh no, adult fears. Ah!
Taxes.
Taxes, debt, being a failure.
Dead end jobs. No.
Modern dating scene.
Politics. Oh no, it's an election year.
I really love the line, by the way. If you're feasting on fear, you're looking at a low-calorie lunch. That's a great line.
Oh, that was such a great line. I had that in my notes too.
Something Monsters Inc. Laughter is more powerful than screams.
Yeah.
So this ripped off both it and Monsters, Inc.
Also, technically, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because the Toon Patrol were defeated with laughter.
Oh
Yeah, that's what Clyde needed to do. He needed to kick Oddbob in the...
No, that don't rhyme with walls.
No, but this does.
I like that it does tie into how very often bad people in the real world feast on fear from marginalized communities. So when we turn them into laughing stocks, it absolutely destroys them. Coughs and how we're treating JD Vance right now.
Coughs and call them weird, call them weird, call them weird, call them weird. Keep doing it. It's working.
Coughs and he fucked the couch.
So when are we going to get that episode of Doctor Who where the Doctor faces off with a sentient couch child thing?
You just reminded me of one of the few like jokes that I remember from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie.
Bored? Yes. I think I'm a sofa. I know how you feel.
So is that movie like porn for JD Vance?
Yes,
Maybe.
yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's just that 5-second moment that he just like keeps like hitting repeat on his computer.
And sure, you just know someone somewhere in this great land of ours paused this episode mid-morph for a really long time.
I just noticed that Clyde's actor is named Daniel Anthony, so it's Anthony Daniels backwards.
C-3PO is the Doctor Who?
Sure, why not?
Oh, and that's another thing too. He actually did come back as Clyde recently for Tales of the TARDIS, which is basically sort of like this clip show thing they did for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Boy, I really hate when shows use a clip show as filler. Like, remember the time we, did that podcast on We Sing?
I don't want to see your boppity bop. Remember the time we thought we finally escaped?
Well, remember when we did that 3-hour recording on Runaway Brain?
Remember that time where we just reenacted that episode of Seinfeld with the contest bit for bit?
I feel like if we were a sitcom and we had a clip show episode, it'd be like that one Ed, Edd and Eddy episode where they parody clip shows. And none of our adventures actually happened.
Yeah, just like that episode of Community where they're looking back on stuff that didn't actually happen. You can laugh at me all you want, but I've seen enough movies to know that popping the back of a raft makes it go faster.
Wait, you're telling me I hallucinated all of 2020?
I know I did.
And also, even after all the kids are returned safely and they're all fine, Headmaster Chandra's still gotta be a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently all the adults think it was a walkout. Like a staged walkout.
They were protesting homework.
They did a staged walkout as some form of protest. What were they protesting? Nobody knows, because the kids just decided to gaslight the adults into not remembering.
And Clyde says, I've learned not to be just the Joker. And I'm just like, I want him to save society so bad.
I learned not to just be the Joker. I also learned to be a smoker and a midnight toker. I also learned to be a lover, a sinner, and a fighter.
Damn straight.
And now Ronnie is one of their friends.
I'm surprised, Tyler, you haven't brought this up yet. Her name is technically a reference to an old Doctor Who character from the 80s called the Ronnie.
That's right, yeah.
She's the same species as the Doctor. She was played by Kate O'Mara. She was like an old soap opera star. She was on that show Dynasty. And she had a couple episodes from the classic era. I remember seeing this old behind the scenes thing where she's like, what seems more nicer to me? The glitz and glamour of Hollywood or standing in a muddy quarry in London for this?
And now she's played by Brian May's wife.
Yes.
Yep.
I didn't know they were doing Shy Ronnie skits in this.
No, seriously, tell me that Mrs. Flood isn't the Ronnie. I dare you.
Yeah.
Coming up next, Channel KRT figures out who shot JR about 40 years too late.
So it was you.
So my final verdict, keep the tapes. This is a solid spin-off, and I think that it really does a good job at being self-contained on top of that, so you don't have to have known all of Doctor Who lore to watch it.
Absolutely keep the tapes. Sarah Jane Smith and Elisabeth Sladen is a treasure. Even without the Doctor Who connection, this was a very solid 60 minutes.
Rest in peace, Elisabeth Sladen. You would have loved Knives Out.
Yes.
When I was watching this, as someone who just doesn't understand Doctor Who whatsoever, I was getting serious H2O and House of Anubis vibes. And just for that alone, I have to keep the tapes out of sheer love for that era.
Hell yeah.
I am still so very upset that she died in the middle of Matt Smith's tenure, because we easily could have gotten more crossovers in there.
Oh, yeah.
She could have easily shown up in Peter Capaldi's era, too.
Oh,
yeah.
And he would have loved that.
If it wasn't for that recession, 2008 probably would have been one of the best years ever. Shit was awesome. Fucking economy.
Looking back on all that came out in 2008, like, we were lucky.
All we had to do was not be poor. And what did we do? Be poor. Let's try and not do that again, guys.
Amen. Mark, so what about you?
This is very much a keep the tapes. You know, Sarah Jane Adventures is a really fun show. This is a great episode. Bradley Walsh, it really walks that tightrope between, you know, campy for campy's sake and genuinely terrifying. Like the switching of the accents and, you know, the way that Ronnie is introduced with her family. This is a solid story. I love this story, and I just love this show. I love Doctor Who. I love all of you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Love wins forever.
Hooray.
Yes.
And is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I'm currently working on a couple of videos right now. I do have a YouTube channel. I have not posted anything new over the last 2 years just because I've been really busy, but I've got a couple of things lined up. I have a video actually about Doctor Who on Disney Plus, why the rest of the show has not appeared on it yet and why it should. I have a video coming up on what I would do if I took over Bob Iger as the new head of Disney. I have a couple videos coming out where I react to Linkara's The History of Power Rangers. I have a lot of irons in the fire. For those who just want to keep tabs on what I have going on, follow me on Twitter at Quiet Time Aquino and on Instagram at Mark Francisco Aquino.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for joining. This really was a long time
This
coming.
was so much fun.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm glad that we finally got to do this.
Literally, because when we hung out and did Disney 100 at the Franklin Institute, you asked me, hey, can we do a Sarah Jane Adventures episode?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So this has been like a year worth in the making, so.
Absolutely. You can follow me over on the usual, assuming Twitter hasn't imploded by this point. Mission Breakout and Muppet Vision _3D. I'm taking a semi-hiatus throughout September and October to develop my art style more, but I will hopefully have new doodles soon. And Mission Breakout on Discord, because Discord is so far not imploded, but who knows?
They sure imploded their mobile layout.
They sure did.
You can find me as Neon Tales with 2 Z's on Twitter, same name on YouTube. And you can go find me watching some dumb American action movies that I understand so I can finally feel smart again.
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Yay!
Yay.
All right, and as for me, you can find me on the usual spots, Tyler FG on Twitter, Tyler FG96 on Instagram. And as for the show, you can find us on Twitter at channel_KRT, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word on Instagram. And you can also check out our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our Twitter bio. And if you want to help support us, you can check us out on Patreon, where we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience, as well as our Ko-Fi, where you can buy our exclusive minisodes for $5 a pop, or you can just give us money, whatever you want to do. And of course, thank you to our pals Paul Spicknall, Tony Goldmark, Ashley Hines, and Chris Reyna for pledging to us the $10 level, and a huge thank you to our executive producer, Gomer.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Before I forget, I think just because, you know, we've been talking about Doctor Who, I think we should also mention through mutual friends, there's a podcast out there right now that you guys should check out called Who Is My Doctor?
Yes.
Hosted by Zach Hurst and Cassie Shima. I've been listening to it for a while now. It's really great, especially if you're getting into the show along the way as Cassie is. It's a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the show, listen to it. If you haven't watched the show at all, still listen to it. It's good stuff.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Zach and Cassie.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, Channel KRT, have you paid the Pied Piper?
Waha! Waha! Waha!
Davros, fekk you, your laboratory.